Welcome to part 3 of the Nordic Longhouse tutorial. Let's pick up right where we left off. Alright, last time we had just finished putting in our very first floor, so we want to immediately go on to the next one. We've got quite a few to go. I don't know if we'll get through all of them today, but we'll get through a lot of it. As we were, let's start back here at the door. We got 2 blocks of cobbled deep slate and then of course some oak and spruce bark blocks on either side of that, and then some spruce planks beside those. If you remember, we are of course going to take a scan around the perimeter of the exterior first, and then we'll take a look at it again from the interior. Alright, we have our first little bit of nether brick here. Going to be using quite a lot of that when we get up to the main sections of the roof. But down here at the bottom, we have just a little awning area down there at the bottom. Alright, so here we are. That's a quarter, so let's go from here and take a look now at the interior sections. As you can see, most of it, we're just extending up the posts as well as the interior dividing walls with the planks and everything. Got 2 stairs right here for our next flight up. And then around the interior, we got more planks and more bark blocks. Right here, we have our stairs right there that came up to the top. And then right here is going to be along our main center line that we started at. So I've got a couple more stairs there for this next flight going up there. And then back here we have some, I think, dark oak fences that we have for some guardrails. I thought dark oak, it was just the right contrast between these 2 colors. So we are extending up our pillars again and putting the fences in between those. And then we want to do that in a big rectangle all the way around the room. Alright, let's go on to the next phase. Take a look at the next block level up. Bit more wood here at the door. Couple of fences there for some upper level windows. Taking a look at the exterior first, and then we'll take a look at the interior details. Alright, now let's take a look at the interior detailing. It's pretty simple for a lot of these little rooms. Got a door there. We're extending up all of our columns now, our posts. They're now going to just 1 block though. On the end down here. But then in the middle sections for the hammer beams, we want to have 2 blocks. And then for caps on those, you can see we want to have spruce trapdoors. Ranged like so. 7 sections of those. And then back here for our little rooms, we have a doorway. Another stair. Another door. And just take a look at that from the top down. It's pretty simple. You can rearrange the interior rooms a little bit if you want to. And then here along the exterior wall with its upper level windows. Here along the center line, we've got a doorway. And then the next flight of stairs right here. And you can place these torches wherever you want to. These are only suggested torch placements. you're doing this in survival, of course, you probably won't have many more torches than what I've listed out. Alright, so here, let's start at the main doorway again. A bit of bark blocks. And spruce behind that. Scanning around the exterior. It's pretty simple. Full blocks and fences, just repeating patterns and everything. Most of it's just going straight up from the previous phase. Right here we are here at the other doorway. Let's take a look at the interior now. And here to cap off our posts, we want to have 4 trapdoors on all sections there. 6 in total. It's a mirror image of what we did down there for those. Alright, in our small little room here, we're just capping the doors off with full blocks. And 2 more stairs there for the stairs. Alright, interior detailing. We've just got some simple interior posts right here. And on our center line where we started at, for this little room here, we've got the stairs coming up here. And then these 4 blocks here are going to form a landing. And we're going to have stairs going up that way. Alright, now in here for the hammer beams, we're forming the lowermost sections of those. Back here we have 3 trapdoors. And then in front of that we have 3 upside down spruce stairs. Just like so. This is the lowermost portions of our hammer beams. It's supposed to represent sort of some mythical carved animal or something. Something like that. I mean, you know, Minecraft. This is as good as much detail as we can do. You know, if you stand back and you look really hard, you might can, you know, you might can see a little mythical flying animal in that or something. It's just a little carved detail we want to have. I think that's all there is to talk about, though. Of course, you want to do, you know, once you do one of those, you do the other 7 the same. And then the other 7 on the other side of the center line over there, the same. Alright, next section, as you can see, we're putting in our second floor. So let's start over here at the doorway. A couple of bark blocks, and then we've got bark block beams just going straight across right here. In fact, I'll show you this entire section from the top down, maybe it'd be easier to see. Because all of this here, on the exterior sections, like along here and there, it's going to be the full blocks of spruce. But wherever we have these little squares, it's going to be the half slabs. We'll take a look at it from below in a moment. Let's just take a look at it from above first. So we have this little landing here that I talked about. So we have 2 stairs going up across this way, and that brings us up to our second floor. Just like so. Down in here, I believe we have just 2 little half slabs. Right there. And then, of course, down below here, back through our doorway, as I said, these are all going to be half slabs. Just like so. And I think with the fence, I'm actually trapped here. I need to go back this way. Like so. And you can lay down the spruce beams here in any orientation you want to. It doesn't have to mirror this. For some of these on the interior, you could get away with using tree trunks and not the full bark blocks, since I believe they are a bit more expensive. Like so. Over here, so you can see we have our stairs. We've been building our second flight of stairs. Let's stop right here, and down below here, of course, everything is going to end up being half slabs. Alright, let's go back upstairs. Let's go over here, take a look at, for the lowermost portions of the hammer beam, really easy. 1 block of spruce planks. 7 blocks that side, 7 blocks on that side. And that's all there's for that one. Let me zoom out and show you this entire section and profile. Right there. And we will go on to the next phase. So we're finished with our little decorative doorways here. So now we're going to focus, we're going to start on the center line, on this main center line where our doorway is. Remember the original center line I talked about. We're going to try to do that for the rest of the video. So here we've got, you can see we've got just more bark blocks and planks in various configurations. Once you've built enough of this, you can kind of see where I'm going with it. I try to make it a little bit intuitive because, you know, the pillars here are meant to be structural, and of course you've got the cross members and the planks behind those. And they will generally come in either sections of 3 or 2, depending. This is a type of scheme if you wanted to just only take the 3x3 interior sections, 5x5 total. You could make an entire building schema out of that. But I find, especially for medieval stuff, you don't really want to do that. You want to throw in some odd numbers. Like here you can see we've got a 4. And of course, you know, with medieval buildings, we want to make things just be a little bit more whimsical, a little bit irregular. The building is highly symmetrical, but it's got some sections in it that are distinctly non-symmetrical in places to kind of, you know, give you that quirky medieval feel. So you can see here we're doing another phase where we're down here below. Remember we did with the fences? Well, we're doing another one of those. Across here, you can see all the beams are just being extended up right along there, across the end of the hallway here. And for our hammer beam, we've got 1 plank block and 1 half slab. Do the same for all 7 on this side and all 7 on that side. And along here, you can see we've just got the planks and the interior columns. And here, of course, we have our first ladder. Remember our original ladder we talked about? We've come to the level where we, as you can see here, we kind of run out of place to put more stairs because the building is smaller as it gets taller. So to compensate for that, we had to resort back to using the ladders. So I'll pan over this whole thing from the top down. I know the planks kind of blend in with each other as we get higher in level. That's why I don't think, unless we're doing a floor level, the top down is useful, but otherwise we need to take a more orthogonal approach to it. I believe also over here we have our stair on our ladder on this side. I looked straight at that and called it a stair. And of course, remember the building's symmetrical, so we have, you know, stairs. I did it again. So we have ladders back over here, and of course we have ladders over there. For the ladder we had over here, we have a corresponding ladder back over here. You know, once you do 1/4 of this, you have all the measurements you need. You can just look at what you built and built it again and again and again. All right. Next phase. Over here, let's take a look at the exterior first. We've got our next section of upper level windows for what's going to be our 3rd story in this building. I forget how many stories we have, 6 or 7, depending. Alright, so here we are above the other doorway. So that's a quadrant of the exterior. So let's take a look now at the interior sections. Most of this is now just being extended up another block level. There shouldn't be any real surprises here. Same for all the 6 pillars across there. And then for the windows across here, we'll take a look at the hammer beam for the last section. Extend up your ladder again, just like so. Oh, and all the other ladders over here, they're just going straight up, like that there. So here for the hammer beam, we've got a dark oak fence and a full block of spruce planks. Right there. Of course, you want to do the same. 7 on this side, 7 on that side. 14 total. We will go on to the next phase. So over here, again, panning around the exterior, we are extending up the walls and the windows pretty much from the last phase. There shouldn't be any major surprises during this one. It's not going to get terribly complicated until we get to the level where we start putting on the roof. And if you remember, the roof is essentially half of the building, so we're not quite there yet. Alright, so here for the 6 columns, we're doing again with the trapdoors on all 4 sides, just like we did down there. We want to do again here. And the ladder is extending up over there. Take a look at the exterior window sections. The ladder along our main center line. Now let's take a look here at the hammer beam roof. And let's ignore the floating trapdoor for the moment. We want to place down 2 dark oak fences and 1 block of spruce. And ignore these for the moment. We will place those in the next phase, which will start right now. It'll make more sense in the next one. All right, so here we are getting to the level just before we're going to start putting on our roof. It's not exactly an entablature. It's just more of a transition level between this section, the lower sections, and the roof. And for that, we want to put down upside down spruce stairs and trapdoors in any orientation you want for those. But you can see here we've got the trapdoors and the upside down stairs right in front of another level, just like we had down here of the cross members for the beams. We're doing that again. So perhaps first we want to place down, let me just give me an entire top-down view. So you can see here we're placing down our, I'm losing count. This is going to be the 4th floor, I believe, that we're placing down. So let's take a closer in view. As you can see here, we've got all of the cross members for the spruce bark blocks. And as you might expect, in between here, there, and all of this in here, that's going to be the half slabs, the spruce half slabs. Along the exterior, along here, this line of spruce, that's going to be the full blocks of spruce. Okay? Right there. You remember we want to have a little hole poked here for our ladder to get through to the next level. The same goes for the ladder over here. And now let's start back over here and scan around taking a more bottom-up view to see the arrangement of the stairs and the trapdoors. You can see here, we're just doing, every time you have a vertical member, we're doing the stair. And in between those, we're doing the trapdoors. And then here along our doorway, And then now let's take a closer look at the hammer beam section. So here we have some cross members going right across there. And then for our hammer beams, we want to have 2 spruce planks, full blocks, and then an upside down stair. And then at the bottom and on the sides of that, we want to have wrapped around these 3 spruce trapdoors right there. And of course, do all of your other hammer beam sections exactly the same. And then behind that, we just have these little 2x3 sections we're leaving open, because they're just part of the rafters now for the building. All right, let's go on to the next phase. Over here, we've now got oak bark blocks directly above the trapdoors and the spruce stairs that we put down in the previous phase. I did originally, when I made this building, this was all spruce. I mean, yeah, this was all spruce, but it made the building just entirely too dark with all the other spruce down here. You couldn't really see the roof line and everything with the already dark roof tiles. So I decided to brighten it up a little, and that's why we went with oak here. But you can see behind that we've got a lot of extra blocks. Let's take a look first at the exterior sections, and then the interior. You can see here on the exterior, we're just wrapping around the oak trim like that, and then it's going to have all the spruce behind it. Just like this here. And in some sections, we're going to have probably too many filler blocks. Some sections, I just kind of filled them in. You could probably get away with a little bit less than what I have here, though. Now we've got our dark oak fences returning right there. And then here, you remember we have just a very narrow 1-block walkway up here in our rafters. So let me put down a torch there, and we need to come back over here and take a look at this room a little bit more. There's our ladder coming up from below, so you can orientate yourself. And then over here in this section, we just have a little dead end nook and cranny off over there. You could, if you wanted to, you could wall that off and put another door there if you want to. Make yourself a very tiny closet. And then over here, some of these blocks are now actually stairs. Upside down stairs. Right there. And right there. For these little side rooms. And then right here along our center line, we have our ladder coming up from below. And then along the side here, we have, of course, more dark oak railings right along there. And then we have the next section for our hammer beams. Right, so let's take a look at that. We have running across here, we have the cross members we already put in. So we want to extend out our dark oak fences along here. We've got 2 full blocks there, 3 fences, 1 spruce plank block, and then that's it. We have the optional torches here. I think this is a good place to hide some torches if you want to. They're not... Once we get everything built, they're not especially visible. From this section, it's a good place to hide some light. But if you don't do that, you might want to put, I don't know, put another trap door there so nothing will spawn, just in case it's too dark or something. But you could possibly hide your light back here, maybe, if you wanted to instead. But once you do one of those, of course, you want to go and do all the other hammer beams, all 14 sections the same. Alright, next section, we're doing a bit of the roof now. I'll drop a carpet on our center line so we can orientate ourselves. And this is a lot of, well, it's entirely spruce and oak and everything. We'll scan along the exterior and then the interior. Alright, now taking a look inside. Little simple rectangular room here, the doorway. And our other doorway here into this larger room here with our ladder. And along the side rooms here, we've got our doorways. And a lot of full blocks. And then our ladder extending up along our center line. Alright, so back here we are extending up all the wood right there. And for our hammer beams, everything's being extended up just the same as you built before. 2 blocks, 3 fences, and another block. Alright, next section, we're now putting on the very first of a long section of roof tiles. In fact, we're going to be doing roof tiles from here on out as we go. But here, let's start along our center line. Kind of mark that there with a little carpet. We'll take a look at the exterior and then pan around the interior. And as I said, if you don't feel like farming the obsidian for the roof, you could go with deep slate tiles for this instead, or perhaps even blackstone if you so choose. Might look nice. I kind of prefer the obsidian myself for it, though. It gives that sort of a rugged and tough impression of the building that you would expect from a Norse type of building. Because, you know, the building should reflect the character of its people. Alright, the little side rooms here. Pretty easy, extending up our ladder. Right there. Over here, you can see again, we're doing now our 4th level of doing these sort of end caps here. 4 of those now, not 6. Leave that one empty on the side because it's now part of the rafters. Alright, so let's scan the side rooms now, and we'll look at the hammer beam section last. Okay, there's our other ladder on our center line. Now let's take a look at the hammer beam section. So we've got our 2 blocks of wood here, 3 fences, 1 bark block, and 1 full block. Do the same for all 14 modules. And that's all there is to talk about for that phase. Let's move on to the next one, where as you can see, we're putting in our 5th floor. At least I think it's the 5th floor. Let me recount. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of. Some of these sections don't seem to have that. Well, I mean, they do over here. Well, like I said, I don't really know how many floors are in the building. Like, it depends on how you want to count them. So over here, let's mark down our center line and take a look at the next sections. All right, and now for I think the top-down view for this here would be in order. Let me try and get a tight view of the entire quadrant, like so. And we'll lower down and take another view of it. So, of course, you see we've got our ladder here. And we've got our, whoop, I'm going to go that far down. And as you might expect, most of these filler blocks here are going to be the half slabs, the spruce half slabs. Right there. In our little side rooms, we do have a couple of upside down stairs. Right there, and there, and there. And this all along here, that's going to be half slabs too, that straight run. You can see half slabs under there too. For the hammer beam, we've got our 2 blocks here, 3 fences, a full block, a fence, a full block, and half slab. Just like so. We're almost done with the hammer beam style. One of my favorite ceiling styles to do. I do want to do maybe a bigger version of this. You know, so something like maybe full version of like Westminster Hall or something. That's a good example of a hammer beam ceiling, if ever there was one. Let's go on to the next phase, though. Mark down our center line and take a look at the exterior. All right, and you can see on the end here now, these roofs are the eaves are here are indeed leaning quite a ways out. Because, like I said, you know, a good medieval building needs to lean over its foundation for some reason. That's just, you know, how they built them. Everything was very densely packed together, so they tended to lean over the streets just a little bit. They sort of cantilever over the streets to sort of make larger upper level rooms without having to, you know, buy more land. Very economical, but somewhat whimsical solution. You can see here our ladder right there by the roof tile coming out on both sides. You can see right here we've got another doorway. And then an upper level here where, of course, we have yet one more little walkway up here. We have, of course, our guardrails, so we don't, you know, fall however far down that is now. And then I think we have just a couple of open sections behind that. I think some of these are going to end up being stairs, actually. Let me just drop down here. Yeah. Stairs, and full blocks. And then back down there, I think that's also going to be a stair as well. All right, we have our little side room here. with our ladder along our center line. Then on the other side of that, we have this ladder here, which is going to take us up to the roost. Beside here, you can see we have for our hammer beams now. We have these cross members going this way. And then in the middle, to finish off the hammer beam design, we have just 3 full blocks of spruce, just like so. If we land all the way down here, we can now see the finished scheme of the hammer beam shape. We still have a lot of rafters to pile on top of this, mind you. But for the overall shape itself, that's all we have to do for it. It's kind of like a trefoil design. Then you can see here we have some more horizontal beams just going straight across this way as well, being put in. So if I zoom out a little bit and show you the entire sequence, we can see, just like any good Viking hall, most of the building is taken up by the Great Hall. And of course, to keep the heat in, we sort of hugged the entire thing around with little rooms and spaces and everything to keep as much of the warm air as we can inside the building, but providing, some extra spaces, so some nooks and crannies for you to hide things away in, just like any good medieval building would have. Next phase here, carpet along center line. Take a look at the next sections. All right, now for the interior. Indeed, some little sections right here were just too small to be useful. So, they kind of got sealed up. But if you wanted to, make yourself a little trapdoor there, you could probably crawl in to this section, hide a few chests back there or something. And we have our ladder stopping there, because it's going to be continuing somewhere else. Where does it continue? Right there. That's where our ladder is going to be going up for the next section. It looks like I completely missed showing you that on the last phase, because I don't remember it. Let's slowly look over this entire room. And then along the walls here, we're just filling it in with planks and arc blocks. Right there. And then here for our now the rafters for the hammer beam hallway, we have this big central rafter right here, just bang along our center line. It's going right across there, sitting right on top of the keystone of our of the arches up here at the top for the hammer beam design. And you see all the cross members this time are being done with a combination of full blocks, 2 full blocks, 3 fences, 1 block, 3 fences, 1 block, 3 fences, so on and so forth, to the other end. Then you want to do that, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. All right, let's go on to the next phase here. And carpet along the center line. And let's take a look at the exterior. As you can see here, the roof slope, for every 2 blocks we go up, we're going back 1 block. That's the general roof slope I've chosen for this. Remember, we had to have some very steep roofs. They could have been even a little bit steeper, but this was the shape that looked the most pleasing. And of course, as we go, if you notice, I don't know if I pointed it out, but the obsidian is placed where it is inside the nether brick to give us some sort of some basic lines and diamond shapes in the roof, just like you would have had during this period. They got a little decorative with the shingles and everything on the roof, the tiles and whatnot. That shows up again later on in the Renaissance, I think, in some places. I believe Gothic revival in the late 1800s favored that as well. The multicolored roof tiles and everything, making patterns and whatnot. But you know, Minecraft, we can only make very, very basic patterns with this scale. Alright, so there we are for our ladder going up. For the interior here, we of course just have these, you know, a little slight overhang there. And then just straight beam right across the exterior walls. And then for the rafters for the hammer beam roof, we're doing the same sort of thing. 2 blocks, 3 fences, 1 block, 3 fences and 1 block. And to repeat that again, right there along our center line. And you want to do that for all 7 rafters. Alright, next phase. We can do a couple more phases today. I don't think, looks like we're in for a 3-parter with this one. Alright, so let's take a look scanning around the perimeter of the exterior first. Place down our roof tiles, and then we could do the structural elements behind that, even though that's the reverse of how it would have actually been built. But we can get away with doing the exterior first in Minecraft. Alright, the interior of this large room here at the end. And let's take a look at the sections over here. That's where our ladder is. Keep track of that. And along the side wall. Oh, and remember, we have this ladder going up right there now, too. And for the rafters, for the hammer beams, we're doing the same thing. We just want to extend up everything we've gotten so far. For the tree trunks and the fences, same numbering, same design, just stack it up another level. And we'll do this phase. Maybe that one. Today, so along our center line here. Right there, and I'm pretty sure these under here are going to end up being half slabs. Right there, in between all of the the horizontal beams. Right there. Wherever you see the spruce planks, those are half slabs. For the rest of it, you can see we're laying down a big network of horizontal cross members now. Right here, right on top of the hammer beam, on top of all those fences, just from one end of the building to the other. You want to lay down those. You want to lay down 7 of those. We want to have double thick ones right behind here by our wall on top of these 2 blocks we've been building. You want to lay down double thick beams side by side on top of those on each side. And then, space out 3 blocks. And then we want to have another cross member going this way. It's right on top of this one that we already built right back down here. You're just doing another one of those. Straight across there. All right, and for, well, that looks more complicated. I think what we will do is actually stop on this one for today, and we will come back and finish the entire building in part 3, and I will see you for that next time.